Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show, January 24th, 2025. Friday, short week. This week went real fast. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but it feels like I just got back on Tuesday. Now we're going to the weekend, which I'm not arguing. And I'm doing something pretty cool tomorrow. I am actually, I told you guys that I was calling a Rocket League high school match in like December, early December. Well, I am back on, and I am going to be doing something like that this weekend. And this time, I am going to be calling Super Smash Bros. I haven't played Super Smash Bros. In like 20 years, so I downloaded it and I'm going to be playing it. But this is something that I get nervous about because I don't really like think I know how to talk Super Smash Bros. So I'm just going to go and do it and have fun. And I've been learning some of the terms. I've been looking at, the characters, obviously. I know their names. But there is a lot to Super Smash Bros. That I do not realize. I did not realize. Like, I went and typed in Super Smash Bros. Tournaments or competitions. And these people are serious. But, it's for a good cause. It's the... let me just make sure I get this right before I say where the organization is. I thought I had this ready to go, but apparently I did not. So we're going to have to wait 1 second. And it's actually really for a good cause because all these high schools in the area get involved, and it really helps people to, I guess not feel like they have to join sports just to play. They have to join an action sport like football, basketball. They could join these leagues within high school, and they're now pretty competitive. But it's the San Diego County Office of Education, the middle and high school Super Smash Bros. Tournament, and it's tomorrow. It starts at 10 a.m. So if you are sitting around and you want to do something tomorrow, I will tweet out the link tomorrow around 10 a.m. and you can watch me stumble all over my words in Super Smash Bros. Gonzo says ice climbers. I don't know. I'm not really sure about ice climbers. That makes me even more nervous. Ugh. But anyway, let's start with, we're not going to Jurickson yet. Hang on, we'll get there. But my family has had not a small thing, but a sad thing happen. It's not small. But my brother and his wife, their dog passed away this morning, and it has affected me, everybody. I didn't really, spend a lot of time with the dog, but when I did, he used to come up and he loved me. He would always come up to me and put his face there. He was like a big lab. He was just a big dude. And he had a really good life. I think he lived until like 10 or 11, but his name was Buster, and I miss Buster already. He was such a sweet dog, and it's very sad when animals have to go. But it was his time. He had been struggling for a few weeks. So, not even a few weeks. He's been struggling for a few months. The last time I saw him, he was breathing really heavy. But he still was the same old Buster. He would come up to me. Actually, Buster, between me and my mom, I don't know who he liked more. Because he would either be at my feet or at my mom's feet. But it's very sad. And so my little niece, she's just over 2. She turned 2 in November. I went to go see her earlier today, and she was asking about the dog, which is always very interesting. I don't have kids, and so I don't know how that actually kind of works in a household with small children, because she's old enough to realize that the dog's not there anymore, and she's old enough to like talk about the dog. So I wasn't really sure how that all worked, but she wasn't quite understanding it, but then I guess, my mom texted me just a little bit ago and said that ever since I left, she's been saying that Buster is in doggy heaven, and he has been playing in the pool because that's what he did when they would bring the Buster up to my parents' house. He would we had this shelf. It's like almost a Shamu shelf kind of, and so he would come up and he would dive in and he would just sit on the shelf all day. So she is happy that Buster is in doggy heaven, hanging out in the pool. So I'm sorry to bring that news to everyone, but I wanted to honor Buster in the best way that I could because Buster was a good dog. He was actually a dog from, I think, Missouri, and he grew up on like a farm, and he had to like hunt his own food. It was crazy, the story. But once he got in the good hands, he was a loved and loving dog. So, all right. Thank you, Nate, saying losing a pet is very hard. It is very hard. And it's not even really my pet. It's my brother's pet. I can't even think about Lucky right now. Can't even think about Lucky right now. All right. Let's go to the next sad thing that's happening right now. And if you haven't heard it yet, you're just getting into your car right now. You need to listen up because Jurickson Profar, we talked about it yesterday, signed with the Braves. Now, I wasn't so mad at the Padres for letting him go, and I'm still not mad at the Padres for letting him go. But I'll play this clip, and it's somewhat hard to understand. I'll recap it because he's on Zoom. So you hear the hollow room that he's in. He's actually, it looks like he's outside. But Jurickson Profar talking to Braves media. Here's what he said.
You mentioned the Braves in San Diego. When did it become apparent to you that maybe you wouldn't return to the Padres, and you kind of fielded the interest from some of the other teams?
Obviously the Padres have some issue with the ownership and all that, and it was difficult to go back, but Alex showed a lot of interest in me, and I love that. He gave me a lot of confidence, to come to a team and to perform. When people show confidence like that in you, it gives you a boost.
So what he said in the beginning was obviously the Padres have the ownership thing happening, and then he was talking about Alex Anthopoulos, which is he's the GM of the Braves, and so I'm happy for Jurickson. He got to a team that wants him, and I'm not saying the Padres didn't want him because the people that I'm talking to are saying that the Padres really tried for Jurickson to come back. I don't know any numbers or anything past that, but I do know that they really did want him on the team. And I do know that they tried to get him back, but when Roki Sasaki says earlier this week that the number one reason he chose the Dodgers was because of a stable front office, and then Profar says, he realized he was not going to be a Padre anymore once, the ownership thing with the lawsuit happened. And I was able to at least... in my head with the Roki Sasaki thing, tell myself that he didn't say the Padres. He was also in on a lot of other teams. And so he was speaking generally about things. And so I was able to kind of, I guess, compartmentalize that a little bit and put that in the back of my head. And now that Jurickson Profar has said it out loud, I think it's time for me to realize that this is actually an issue, and it's an issue, and it's not even an issue of who's doing what. It's just something that is hanging over the organization, and it's going to take a little bit to resolve. So this revelation, or at least maybe not revelation by Jurickson Profar, but him saying that the organization, he realized he wasn't going to be back with the ownership lawsuit came out. That's a big deal to me, because what else is happening, on the roster front? Are there other players that the Padres are trying to sign that don't want to come to the Padres because of what's going on in the front office? And I don't know enough about the lawsuit to really say whether or not the timing of it was strategic or the timing of it was just, force someone's hand. I don't know any of that, which is why I don't want to comment on that part of it, because I don't know what the circumstances were behind it. And I will continue to say that, until I know more facts about things, I can't really have an opinion, because things can change so much when you have an assumption versus when you have facts. But Jurickson Profar saying this does stand out to me, and it does worry me a little bit that some of the other guys that the Padres are trying to bring in maybe aren't into what's going on in the front office. And if that's the case, then I can't say the Padres are in trouble because they still have their core. But if they're not able to get free agents to sign and they're only really able to add to the team through trade, that's an issue. That is a total issue. And it's extremely unfortunate. I can't stop thinking about, someone said something on the chat earlier about the curse of San Diego sports. And I cannot think, it just keeps, it's not lost on me that this team was set for a bright future. And I still think the future can be somewhat bright. But this team was set for runs to the playoffs, deep runs to the playoffs. And they had an owner that wanted to win. They had an owner that really wanted to invest the money into the team and into the city to put a winner on the field. And unfortunately, that owner passed away, and that changed everything. And so it really did kind of, it makes me think maybe there is some sort of curse going on in San Diego, because that's a wild set of circumstances that came together for all this to happen. But it's not fair to you Padres fans. I got to tell you that right now. It is not fair to all of you, because you support the team and these outside circumstances get in the way. And it's really, the word that keeps coming to mind for me is unfortunate, because I really am feeling like the teams that we've been talking about the last couple of years, I'm feeling like I don't know that they're going to really add anyone this offseason. Now they have to add people. They have to add people because they don't have a left fielder. They need a couple pitchers. And at this point, I don't even see them trading Dylan Cease or Luis Ariz or Michael King, because the roster that they have right now is a roster. Apparently, Bleacher Report thought it was good enough to rank them 5th best in baseball, but the roster that they have right now is something that they need to keep intact. I don't know that you can get, like, if you can get that much better by trading a Dylan Cease or a Michael King. So I'm looking at, what do they do from now until they get into spring training? And then once in spring training, I think that there's going to be some moves, some trades. But I really am disenchanted with the Padres being able to bring in free agents that want to play here. And if Jurickson Profar is saying that, he's a Padre for life. He loves the Padres. He wanted to return to the Padres. He was trying to, he's trying to play both sides of things in his Zoom conference, but he wanted to return to the Padres. He got his money, and I'm happy for that. But if he's someone who doesn't even want to return, and I can't really say that he doesn't want to return is a weird way of putting that, because he did want to return, but he also wanted his money. So I'm okay with that. But the rest of the roster needs to come together, and needs to come together fast. I'm not dooming just yet. I'm not going down the rabbit hole just yet. But if we get into spring training and we're not seeing any major movement, or we're just kind of seeing them pick up players that are scrap heap picks, then this is going to be a tough year. It's going to be a tough year. Now, do I think that they can win? Yes, I do think they can win. They could win with this team even without a left fielder and 2 starting pitchers. But can they compete down the line in the playoffs with this roster? I don't know. Because I don't see them adding the big name, or I don't see them adding a player that's going to really open eyes like, Padres are retooling right now. I don't know that that's going to happen this offseason. And I just think that I've been trying to think about how I want to talk about this all day, but the one thing I come back to is this is a problem, and the team needs to figure out how to address it with AJ Preller. I mean, there's nothing anyone can do anymore. Everything is done. And as a recovering alcoholic, I used to dwell on the past all the time. And I still, to a certain extent, do. But I do know that I can't change what's already happened, and I do know I can't control the future. So all I can do is hope that this team figures it out. I'm not going to just sit around and twiddle my thumbs, but at the same time, there is nothing we can all do. This has already happened. There is no putting the genie back in the bottle. So the set of circumstances are set forth, are put in front of us, and those aren't going to change. And I guess that's all I have to say about that for right now. If you have anything to say, you can join us on the YouTube chat. Just search 97.3 The Fan in YouTube, or you can go to Facebook, 97.3 The Fan, or you can go to my Twitter, at Matt Skraby, at 97.3 The Fan SD. And you could let me know how you're feeling out there. But today, for me, I try to not sugarcoat, but I try to look for the positive in things. And today I can't find one in this Jurickson Profar press conference. I can't. So I have another clip I want to play you of Jurickson Profar after the break, and we'll talk about that. Also, the Padres did trade for someone, so we'll talk about that for a second. And at the end, just some random stories to make you feel good heading into your weekend, or maybe not even make you feel good, maybe make you laugh heading into your weekend. So all of that is ahead on the Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey guys, it is Woodsy. You've heard
kind of music I'm going to listen to on the way home because I'm a little angry, a little frustrated, a little annoyed, a little perturbed. And I think all of you are feeling the same way. It's not a good day in Padres land today. You know, I guess probably knew that there was some sort of effect on free agents and stuff, the ownership struggles. But I didn't expect to hear Jurickson Profar say it. And I also see people on the chat, and I've also seen on social media say, oh, this is just an excuse that he's making because he didn't, want to let down Padres fans. So he said that the ownership struggles were an issue, and so that's why he left. I don't believe that. I think he left because he got a lot of money from the Braves. But I don't believe that Jurickson Profar is saying this just to make people feel better. It's just not something that I think he's doing. I don't think he's that guy. Whatever. He's that guy whatsoever is the word I'm looking for. It's Friday, everyone. Let's go to some of the chats because I looked through in the break and I got some good ones. Nate says, I'm not worried, but I am concerned. And I think that's a good way to put it. Not worried, but concerned. There should be a little bit of both, I think. But I think more concern than worry right now is what's going to be happening. Let's see. Gonzo says he's still confident in the team. Gonzo is ride or die. Rod also says AJ is scouting the fantasy campers that are out there right now, Padres fantasy camp. And then Nate said Woods and Paulie are on the roster. I would love to see Woods and Paul play for the Padres. That would be amazing. Okay, back to these more serious comments. This is from Tim, and I think this makes a lot of sense. Tim says, the bigger problem is we went from having leadership and direction to having none. Now, I do think in that regard, yes, there is not direction for us. Maybe there is direction inside of the organization because they still have to run this team. So there has to be still something in place where there's some leadership hierarchy. I don't think that it's just the wild, wild west over there. I don't think people are running in circles. I think that there is some sort of hierarchy. But Tim is kind of right, is that there was a planned, there was a laid out plan for the Padres, and all of us understood it. And that plan is no longer seemingly being carried out. And I do think that once we get to, even before I knew this Jurickson Profar stuff, I had planned on talking about, I got to get a lot of questions about the team. Has the team said anything? Has the team said anything to us? And the team has not. But we are coming up on some events where I don't know the schedule, so I don't know the media availability at FanFest. But I'm thinking we might get some answers at FanFest. I don't know that for sure because I haven't checked the schedule. But if there's no answers by FanFest, then there's definitely answers in spring training. There's going to be media availabilities in spring training. That's when we're going to get our information. So the lack of information right now, I guess I'm not as worried about because I think the Padres are still trying to figure things out. So they have a little bit of time for that. And they have, 2 months, or not even 2 months. They have leadership in place, but they have some time to figure it out, and we have some time that we're not going to know. And that's the hard part. I will say it's a hard thing to deal with when you aren't able to control anything and you don't know any information, and all you want is information, and all you want is to understand the situation, and you're just not because you can't. But that's the hardest part, is just waiting. And yes, I'm saying the wait thing again because that's all we can do. I said it last segment. It's not my favorite thing to do. Be patient and wait, but we can't control this, and so that's what we have to do, at least in my mind. KG says, It's a terrible spot because there is no information about anything in the litigation pending. We are unlikely to hear anything, which is also another reason why I think we haven't heard much from the Padres, because this is upcoming litigation. I hope I used that word right. And a lot of that stuff is confidential anyway. But there will be a point in time when we figure things out, and we can all work together to figure out how we feel about it. But right now, I don't feel good about things. And I'm not giving up on the team. I'm not a doomer. Nothing like that. I am just concerned right now. Just very concerned right now. And going forward, until this team is on the field on opening day, I think I will be a little concerned. Spring training is going to make me feel better. I think a lot of this, too, is we just need to see the team start playing baseball, because we're just talking about things right now. And so there's no baseball action. But once we get into spring training, we're going to learn more. I think people are going to feel better. I think people are going to feel better when the games start, because I do think this team's going to compete. The way it's currently constructed, I don't think they're going to any World Series, but they're just a few pieces away from competing. And the Dodgers are stacked, but that doesn't mean they're going to win it all every single year. And I have to keep that in my mind, because every time I see a Dodger, someone signing with the Dodgers, I'm thinking, what else do they need? This team's going to win every year. But it doesn't really work that way in sports. And baseball, it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work in baseball at all, because baseball is such a different sport. All right. Let me play that other clip when we get back from Jurickson. Actually, I'll play it right now, because we're on it. But Jurickson, he did his press conference with the Braves, and so this is where we're getting all this audio from, Braves.com. And Profar was actually asked also about his top choices in free agency. I'm just getting it queued up. Here we go. Here's Jurickson Profar.
So when you went into free agency, would you say the Braves were at the top of your wish list?
Sure. Along with where it was San Diego, I think those two teams, was my choices.
So it hurts. It hurts because you could just tell Jurickson Profar wanted to come back to San Diego. But again, he's going to be fine in Atlanta. He's making good money. It's just is terrible that he's going to be in another uniform. I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of that at all. Jurickson Profar was a good Padre, but for $12 million this year and 15 the next two, or 30 the next two, that's a lot of money for Jurickson Profar. But can't look past the fact that issues with the Padres organization right now was a reason that he chose to go to the Braves. And I'm not going to ignore it. So I think it's time to go to break, though. I'm just getting more and more frustrated as we go along. Actually, Emma Key says, did we find out when Skraby will be broadcasting next Saturday? Because FanFest is next Saturday, so I will be out there. I don't know if we've announced our plans yet, but I will be out there in the afternoon. I think it's going to be from like 2 to 4, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. So I'll let you guys know. We'll let you guys know as a station as we get closer to FanFest. But we will be out there, and you can come hang out with us, and that would be cool. When we get back, I'm just going to sit in silence for a little bit. Just kind of contemplate my life. No, we're going to talk about some fun stories. Maybe one last thought on Jurickson Profar on 97.3 The Fan. All right, final segment of the week for me. Appreciate everybody being here. Man, we've had to talk about some really tough stuff in the last couple weeks with the Padres, and that's why I'm here, I guess, to help you guys all get through it. But it has not been easy the last couple weeks. Last Friday, Roki Sasaki signs. Tanner Scott signs on Sunday. Jurickson Profar goes to the Braves yesterday. It's just a lot going on in a short period of time. I like. I've been looking at the chat, and there are, the chatters are actually not as, angry as maybe I am coming off as. But there was a comment that I wanted to get to because it's kind of more of a looking forward comment, which is what I said I wanted to do. And from Pat Dawn, do you have any optimism with Tirso Ornelas playing left field? I can say that I'm not real sure how great he's going to be, but I can say, I've heard his name enough around to know that he is a possibility in left field. So my answer to that is, yeah, I'm excited for someone to try and come in and take the job by the horns and win it. And he has a great opportunity now. There are a lot of guys with a great opportunity in the Padres organization. Now that Jurickson Profar is gone, there are some good spots for guys to fight over in spring training. And if Tirso Ornelas is the guy who wins out, then I'm excited because it's exciting to get new players that are, new, younger players that can maybe possibly fill something that you really needed, like left field, and hold their own. It happens. It really does happen. I mean, we see different guys throughout baseball who are not known coming into the season but end up having great years. And then we see guys who come into the season who aren't known and have bad years and have years that we thought they would have. But I will always be at least positive to a point where I'm going to give the guy a chance. I'm not going to crush the dreams of Mr. Tirso Ornelas because I don't think I don't know everything about him. I would rather be excited to see him play, which I am. So, not a bad thought, Pat Dawn. Let's see. I had another one, but I don't know if I want to go with it right now. We might go to it a little bit later. But anyway, that's all of the thoughts I have on Jurickson Profar. That's all the thoughts that I have on what's going on with the Padres roster in the last week or so. And hopefully I made a little bit of sense to everybody out there. Hopefully. I want to go from the sad stuff, sad, depressing, and doom, to back to my niece, who I saw this morning, because I forgot to say this. But everybody knows I love scary movies. Everybody knows that I will watch a scary movie every single day if I could. Well, my little niece, I'm actually wearing my Terrifier shirt right now with Art the Clown on it, and he has sunglasses on. So that's how much I love scary movies. But my niece, I showed up. She was wearing a Halloween jumper thing, and we were like talking about it. I was like, oh, Halloween was a couple months ago. She's like, yeah, but I like these clothes. And she was like pointing to things on the clothes. She was like, ghost, pointing to the ghost on her clothes. Pumpkin, pointing to the pumpkin. So what I'm telling you this for is like a kind of a palate cleanser because it's kind of cute. But she loves the stuff that I love. So I know that we're related. She loves Halloween. I love Halloween. She loves planes. I love planes. So that was a fun morning, getting to know my niece a little bit better. And now we have, I'm gonna start bringing her some scary stuff. Not scary stuff, but you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna start bringing her stuff, to expand her scary movie realm. And then my brother and my sister-in-law are going to kill me for that because I'm not the one who has to deal with it. All right, here's some of the side stories fun stories that we could talk about heading into the weekend. The Washington Commanders and Philadelphia Eagles obviously are going to be playing this weekend, and they're going to be playing in Philly. But Commanders fans have really taken it to a new level, I think, because Commanders fans, or I guess in this case Redskins fans, because that is what is all over the Rocky Balboa statue in Philadelphia. That is bold to go put a bunch of Redskins stuff on there, and then under it says, "Yo, Adrian." But he's got like a towel around his waist that's Redskins. There's a jacket at his feet that's Redskins. He's got like a scarf that's a Redskins colored scarf. So that is, if I'm a Commanders fan though, I'm not really, I don't like to tempt fate. And you're kind of tempting fates when you go put a bunch of stuff on Rocky Balboa's statue of the other team. And I don't know if this is like a successful thing for teams to do, but I'm looking forward to this weekend. I mean, if you're going to have a NFC championship between a team that's not supposed to be there and a team that is supposed to be there, why not make it a division game? Those are always the best games to begin with. But I guess this is a thing that fans do with the Rocky statue. And I can tell you right now, the 49er fans, I'm seeing a picture of the 49er fans putting a 49er shirt on Rocky Balboa. Guess what? 49ers lost. So maybe this is like a bad thing. I think this might be a bad thing. I think people should probably not tempt fate, like I said, and mess with Rocky Balboa's statue. All right. Oh, I'm seeing that there's news. There's news out right now. Let's see. I think, the Raiders hired Pete Carroll. We know that. But I think the Cowboys have hired their guy. But I haven't seen the news yet. So I'm not going to go with it just yet. But it's looking like Brian Schottenheimer is going to be the coach. I'm not seeing it on ESPN or anything yet. So I'm not going to go with it just yet. We're going to have to wait a little bit more. The Jaguars, we talked about them a little bit earlier, hire Buccaneers offensive coach or former offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, and he's going to be the head coach. Now, it's a little weird, and I asked the guys this earlier, but it's a little weird that he turned down the job at first because he didn't want to work with the general manager, and then the Jaguars fired the general manager and then offered him the job again, and then he took the job. So it's I don't know why the Jaguars are like moving heaven and earth just so they can get Liam Cohen. And someone on the chat made a good point earlier. They said, you don't know if he's going to be good or not, which is true. I don't know if he's going to be good or not. But I guess when you fire your GM, like, why are you giving this guy who's never had a head coaching opportunity in the NFL before, why are you giving this guy so much power? It seems like you're kind of setting it up so that he is given all the power. It's very strange to me. I know the guys didn't think it was that strange, but it's very strange to me. And I'm now seeing it's confirmed by Adam Schefter. Cowboys are hiring offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer as their new head coach. This is an interesting... I'm just seeing all this for the first time. So this is an interesting quote from Jerry Jones. So Adam Schefter tweets out, Cowboys are hiring offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer as their new head coach, Jerry Jones tells ESPN. Quote, Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant. He ain't Brian no more. He is now known as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's kind of a backhanded compliment, backhanded compliment. Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant. I don't know. This seems like a really bad hire. And it has nothing to do with Brian Schottenheimer. I'll say that. I think Brian Schottenheimer probably has put in a ton of time, but Jerry Jones just doesn't know what he's doing. And also Brian Schottenheimer kind of has to know that once he takes this job, then he's kind of Jerry's puppet, Jerry Jones's puppet. I don't know about this. I mean, you go from Mike McCarthy to Brian Schottenheimer. I'd rather have Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy actually has a track record of, being able to win in the NFL. I know he didn't do much with the Cowboys, but what coach has lately? Not many. Not many at all. Katrina. Part of the contract was to hand his, over to Jerry in a paper bag. Probably, because Jerry's just going to tell him what to say, tell him what to feel, all of that. But it doesn't move the needle for me whatsoever on this whole thing. Jerry Jones does not move the needle for me at all. Let's see, 6:49 on the clock. So I wanted to also talk about this. And yes, we're in the final segment of the week. I am just going to bring up random stories for the next couple minutes or so. But I have been into, and I haven't seen this movie yet, but Nosferatu, it came out just before Christmas, I believe, and it's now available to rent a video on demand. So Nosferatu is like a remake of the original Nosferatu that was made in like the 20s. And so they made a new one, and it looks really interesting. But the video on demand, I guess people are making fun of this because they put out the video on demand download, and there's an uncut extended version for Nosferatu on this. So you could watch the extended version if you want to. Well, the extended version, this is what everybody's making fun of. The extended version is only 4 extra minutes. So what's the point, A, of even cutting those minutes out of the movie, and B, why call it an extended version? This is stupid. You can't call it an extended version when there's only 4 extra minutes of movie. You're pretty much showing the same exact movie, but you cut out 4 minutes. I think this is hilarious. Oh, Jacob says it's not the greatest. Tell me why, Jacob. Is it just boring? I could see that it looks a little slow, to be honest. Did I see the new Dylan movie? No, I have not seen the Dylan movie. It doesn't really, I've heard it's good, and I'll probably watch it, but it doesn't really, grab me. I guess I'm not a big music person, and that's why it doesn't really grab me. And this is embarrassing to say. And I know that I know a Bob Dylan song, but I could not tell you a song right now. I couldn't tell you the title of a song at the moment. But I'll see it. I've heard that movie's pretty good. Gonzo says those 4 minutes probably cost millions. Yeah, you're probably right, Gonzo. They probably spent a ton of money trying to make Nosferatu, and they're like, the theaters want us to have the movie 4 minutes shorter. Okay, we'll release it as an extended cut. That's what we'll do. We'll release it as an extended cut. But I want to know why Jacob didn't like Nosferatu. The Nosferatu, look seems like it's a slow movie, and it's dark, but I still will probably watch it. I think I will. All right, this weekend, playoff games, NFC Championship, AFC Championship. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that because I wanted to talk about this because the Padres did actually make a move. Now, it's not a huge name or anything like that, and I'm hoping that there are bigger names on the horizon for the Padres when I see that they've made a trade. But the Padres acquired right-handed reliever Ron Marinaccio from the White Sox in exchange for cash. And so he has been a part of the big leagues the last 3 big league seasons, and he was with the Yankees. So he posted a sub-4 ERA in all 3 of those individual seasons, working to a composite 322 mark with a strong 28.2% strikeout rate, but an ugly 12.6% walk rate. He throws a fastball, changeup, slider. His fastball averages 93.6 miles an hour. Again, not the biggest name in the world, but I guess there is a move that has been made. Not the move that I think all of us wanted. And nothing against Ron Marinaccio, if I'm hopefully saying your name correct, but nothing against you. It's just right now I think Padres fans need a huge name. That's why I say Sandy Alcantara. They need to make that happen. But honestly, with what I heard today, I don't know that they're going to make Sandy Alcantara happen. I don't know how many more guys they're going to sign. I'm going down the rabbit hole again, so let's stop.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
All right, Daily Gripe. I was going to come in with a Daily Gripe about, like, something really trivial, but I'm not going to do it today. So, my Daily Gripe is this. When I went, I guess, it is trivial, but I went on my walk today with the dogs, and I usually don't take my phone, but sometimes I am such an airhead that I like put my phone in my pocket and it falls on the ground. So I did the walk and wasn't really paying attention to anything, and I get home and I'm looking for my phone and I realize I don't have my phone, so I had to go back out there and I had to go and re-walk the entire thing until I found my phone. I need to make sure every single time that I have my phone in my pockets. I usually don't lose phones. I really don't. I'm pretty good at that stuff. I don't lose my keys. I don't lose phones. But last couple of weeks, I've been dropping my phone on the ground everywhere. All right. Here we go into the weekend, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with me this week. I'm all alone except for all of you. And we did talk about some tough Padres topics this week. Sure, we're probably going to have to talk about tough Padres topics next week, but maybe we'll get a move over the weekend. Maybe we will. Hopefully everybody can go enjoy their weekend. Don't worry about the Padres too much. Don't worry about anything too much. Just have a good weekend and be safe, everyone. Have a great night. I'll talk to you on Monday.